Hello and welcome to the Climate Review for 2022. My name is Brian Conlon. I'm a meteorologist here in Missoula, Montana. Now, the next three slides will be similar, showing annual temperature, precipitation, and snow for our main three climate sites, Missoula, Kalispell, and Butte. How can you read this graph? Well, on the top is temperature. The light red color is the daily high temperature record for each day, while the light blue is the record low temperature. The light green in the middle is the normal range of temperature for each day for the individual sites. Finally, the dark blue was the actual temperature for each day of the year. On the far left is January, and on the right is December, and each block in between represents the days of the month for each respective month. For instance, that first block would have 31 individual spikes for each day of January. This middle block here is for precipitation, where light green is the average precipitation as it would accumulate through the year. Where you see dark green are times of the year where that station was above average precipitation for that time of the year, and tan demonstrates when it fell below average for the year. For example, by July 1st, right here in Missoula, we can see that for the year we're about 1.5 inches below average, just eyeballing the graph. And by the end of the year, the total precipitation was 10.91 inches when normal is around 14 inches. Finally, this bottom graph, this is snow. It can be read the same way as you just read the precipitation. And for Missoula, by the end of the year, we're above average at 51.1 inches. Additionally, 2022 was a year of warm and very cold months. Very warm and very cold months. In fact, there were multiple months at multiple stations that ranked top 10 warmest or coldest. Looking on the next three slides, you can see a list of top 10 warm and cold months, with the more warm months listed on the left and the top 10 coldest on the right. As a perfect example, the warmest October ever from Missoula was directly followed by the third coldest November ever. Talk about system shock. Now, one last thing I wanted to point out, each one of these graphs, they'll show you the hottest day of the year and the coldest day of the year, which for Missoula was 104 degrees on July 31st, and then the coldest day was -19 on December 22nd. This graph is for Kalispell. You can see that there were 3 top 10 warmest and 4 top 10 coldest months. And the warmest and coldest days were the same days as Missoula, but 98 degrees and -34. Woo! Butte, 3 top 10 warmest months and 2 top 10 coldest months. Now the hottest day was actually later in the year. It was September 3rd when it got up to 96 for Butte, but the coldest day was similar on December 22nd at -40. The wettest day for 6 locations around our area, and Pierce was the winner. It came out with 2.48 inches on November 5th. Now, a portion of that fell as snow, as that station reported 4.1 inches of snow on that day. This slide is for the hottest day of the year, with 3 stations hitting triple digits, but Orofino was the hottest, hitting 106 twice on both July 29th and again on September 2nd. The coldest day of the year for these same 6 locations was almost all on the same day, December 22nd. But Salmon was a lone station having its coldest day way back when on January 30th, when it dropped to -14. Orofino once again is topping our list, this time for a cold weather event, snowiest day. 14 inches of snow fell on January 6th. Now, as you can see, the NA for Butte, remember, there is no snow measurement done at the airport. But you could find snow data for Butte, although at a higher elevation than the airport, by searching for the co-op at Montana Tech. Total snowfall for the year, excuse me. As you can see, Pierce won this accolade. They had 132 inches fall in Pierce in 2022. Now, average temperature for the year. The top left was the actual average temperature for the year, while the bottom right was the departure from normal. Those normals are calculated as a 30-year average from 1991 through 2020. 4 of our 6 chosen sites were below normal, with Salmon being 2.5 degrees below normal for the entire year, while both Missoula and Orofino were just slightly above normal. Remember all those months that were top 10 warmest? I guess it can even out at the end. The following 6 slides were put together by meteorologist Dave Noble. Thanks for that, Dave. I won't go over all the data on these slides, but you can go back and check all the data for the individual months for a larger group of stations around our area, as I'm going to send out a PDF with this recording. But looking at this slide as an example of how to read them, this is a recap of January. The numbers that you see over here are the dates, followed by a description of what happened during that time frame. For example, on 1 to 3 January, there was severe drifting and blowing of snow in the Camas Prairie of Idaho. That resulted in power outages, road and school closures, from high winds that were gusting 40 to 70 miles per hour. And like I said, you can go back and read all these descriptions at your own leisure. One thing I did want to point out on this next slide is for each month you'll see a chart, and this has a little bit more of an expanded 9 climate sites from around our area, and shows a little bit more diverse climate data from temperatures to snow depth and for days of measurable snow throughout the month. Here's February, highlighting 2 Arctic events, where all but 1 site listed finished the month colder than normal. At the same time, most sites were also drier than normal. March, from what I remember, was a fairly benign weather month, and all the sites listed were warmer than normal, many much warmer than normal. April went back to widespread cold and an active weather pattern. In fact, this set us up to have above average snowpack late into the season. As you can see, most sites were well below average temperatures, with Kalispell having its coldest April ever. This particular graphic ranks the coldest Aprils for Kalispell, Butte, and Salmon, Idaho, against the ENSO phase. ENSO stands for El Nino Southern Oscillation. Dave also threw in whether it was a weak, moderate, or strong La Nina or El Nino, and if it was part of a multi-year ENSO event. For example, the coldest April ever for Kalispell, number 1 right here, 2022, corresponded to a moderate La Nina, and this was the second of 3 straight La Ninas. The current 2022 to 2023 winter is the 3rd consecutive La Nina in that streak. 2022 was not just cold and wintry, it was also a historic severe weather year. Last year, the Missoula office issued 76 severe thunderstorm warnings, exceeding 1997, which is the 2nd place year, and had 71 warnings issued. Fun fact, 1977 started as a weak La Nina, and by winter had transitioned into the strongest ever recorded El Nino. August, September, and finally October continued a streak of very warm months for most locations. In fact, October ranked warmest ever for Missoula and 3rd warmest for both Kalispell and Pierce, Idaho. Put on your stocking caps though. November blew in and the heater turned off outside and turned on inside. November would rank 2nd coldest ever for Pierce and Salmon, Idaho, while Missoula, Butte, and Libby would rank 3rd coldest. Oh yeah, it also snowed, with many locations not only being above average, but well above average. December would not disappoint. It was also colder than normal for many, with both Kalispell and Libby ranking top 10 coldest ever December. In fact, 20 to 24 December, record cold slid into the northern Rockies, with the 22nd being the coldest day of the year for many. As most of you know, though, the ending of that year was very anticlimactic the last few days. It became warm, and a lot of the valley snow cover started to melt off. Well, that did sound a lot better in my head. I think I'm going to leave the comedy to the stand-ups, and I'm going to stick to stats and meteorology. Hope everyone had a great 2020. I hope everyone has a great 2023. I got to get out of the past and into the present. And if you have any questions at all about the climate of 2022, or if you need weather updates, don't hesitate to call us at 406-329-4840. You can visit us at weather.gov/Missoula, or try to contact us on Twitter or Facebook. As always, have a great day, and we look forward to our recap next year.